Hello to Book Reviews with Emma. So, this is the 12th book in the Dresden Files by Jim Butcher called Changes, and if you've already read it, you know why I'm talking about it. If you haven't read it, you're gonna know why I'm gonna talk about it right now. Let me start with a little bit of a preview on the series. So, Harry Dresden is this Chicago wizard. He started off pretty weak, pretty naive about things, and then he just, through all the books, got stronger and stronger through all these trials, tribulations, tests that he's given in the supernatural world. And what I really like about Jim Butcher's writing is that he brings in so much supernatural from so many cultures, so many histories, so many fairy tales, and it envelops a lot of the world. And I'm reading about new things, and I would like to call myself a supernatural buff, maybe. But I find it so intriguing because it's one of the first adult fantasy books that I've ever picked up. My uncle actually gave it to me, and the first 3 books, they're good. Don't get me wrong, but after that, they're good. So the first couple books, he's just going through all these things as a pretty weak wizard, but he builds up so much strength and gets so many allies and enemies, especially enemies. Harry can never keep his mouth shut, especially enemies. Harry Dresden can never keep his mouth shut, which is why I love him so much, because when he knows he shouldn't say anything, he knows it. This being is so much stronger than him, he says it anyways. And most of the time it gets him in trouble, but sometimes it's just really funny. So there's that. The characters, you come to love all of them. There's Murphy, there's Thomas, there's Harry, obviously, Molly. All of them grow and grow together and grow apart and grow in strength. It's so good, and it's built up so much. So like I said, this is the 12th book, and it may seem like it takes a while to get to this huge climax, but those books really fly by. So, once I got to this book, I wouldn't say I was a die-hard Dresden fan. I was a good fan, but after I read this, I was a die-hard Dresden fan. I cannot believe what happened. I cannot believe all the consequences, and I cannot believe that Jim Butcher did this to us, and I love it. Oh my god. So right now, I would say click off the video if you don't want any spoilers. I'm not gonna get too in-depth, but just click off in case right now. So Changes, first page, very first page, you find out that Harry has a daughter with Susan. And I gotta say, it was a really shocking way to figure out, right after I finished the last book, I cracked this one open right on the first page, and I was like, whoa, okay. Which, it's believable, fairly believable, but you can tell, because of how much you've grown with Harry, that his parental influences instantly were like, oh my god, I need to go save her. She's captured by the Red Court vampires, which we all know suck, if you've read, or, if you ever have heard of an evil vampire, this is them. They're taking a little girl, come on. And it's Harry's little girl. And now that he has all these powers and everything that he's built up, he takes a strike at it, but he gets knocked down too fast in the story and has to make a deal. And that shocked me so much. I cannot believe that he made a deal with Mab. What? With Mab? Oh my god. I love it at the same time that I hate it, because it was so shocking and so scary, since we know, this whole time we've been told that she is ruthless, cold-blooded, and really controlling, and now Harry works for her. But he needs the power to save his daughter from the Red Court. So after Harry's back gets broken in the story, I thought it was gonna be all over. That was a big thing that already happened, and it was not the most of it. I could not believe that. So he had to make the deal with Mab and cured his back, had some weird ritual thing going on. You people know what I mean, yeah. And let me just say, okay, so I told you my uncle gave me these books. He loves to talk to me about them. I love to talk about them because I don't have anyone to talk about the books with. So midway through, I'm getting really annoyed at Susan. Like, I don't know why. She just sets me on edge, which is probably the point. But I made a joke where I said, I hope she just doesn't make it through this book. And she doesn't. Oh my god. Even though my uncle told me about it, I did not expect it at all. So this huge battle. I cannot believe that Harry killed Ariana. That was so badass. But he had the cold powers from Mab and no one knew it, which worked out. And then the Grey Council swooped in and he found out Ebenezer is his grandpa. Ah! It was so awesome. I loved that part. Of course, that happened right after he set this huge ritual off that the Red Court had been preparing to kill an entire bloodline, Harry's bloodline. So, to kill Harry's entire bloodline, they needed to sacrifice the daughter. And Harry came in, swooped in, saved his daughter by killing Susan instead on the altar, so all of the Red Court died. All of them. Like, all the land they had, all the royalty, all the powerful ones, they just blew up instantly, torn to shreds, dead. Let me be not the first to say, but I did not see that coming at all. Like, Harry killing Susan, like, he's been devoted to her for so long. He still cares about her in the next books and on after that, and it rips out a piece of his heart to do this. Maybe not even a piece, maybe his whole heart. But for Harry, it has to be done to save his innocent daughter. He was not gonna let her die no matter what, and we can tell by all the choices that he made throughout the book. So I thought that this one was getting... It may be one of my favorite books ever. And I've read a lot. I mean, not as much as those hardcore readers out there, but I've read like All This Shelf. And I've enjoyed so many books, but none of them have twisted my heart as much as this one. And I love a good heart twister, a good brain twister, a soul twister. Changes was all that I needed. And then there's more after it. Like, this huge battle was not the end. Whew, the end. Can I just say that I, like, died laughing out of, like, really? All this happens. Harry finally, like, tries to cool off, and he talks to Murphy. And they're flirting. And he's getting all ready on Thomas's boat because his house was burned down. Oh, that was heartbreaking. His house, his office, and the Blue Beetle. I cannot believe the Blue Beetle was destroyed. That thing has lived through everything imaginable, and the Blue Beetle was smushed. Like, I just 1 second of silence for the Blue Beetle. Oh my god. It was really sad because you see all these huge things in Harry's life just disappearing, and Susan as well. And then Murphy comes in, and you're like, yes, finally we get something back from this really heart-wrenching story. And then Harry gets shot and dies, and that's the end. That's the end of the book. And I cannot imagine for people who had to finish reading this and wait. What? Like, I knew the next book was about a ghost, so pretty obvious there. But people who didn't know, oh my god, I'm so sorry for you. I feel so bad. I would have died. That's like, oh, the episode where Jon Snow dies in Game of Thrones, and then you have to wait a whole season to see him come back to life. Oh my god, it was just like that. literally just like that, except I hope Harry gets a better ending, but I don't know. Jim Butcher is a really smart man, and he really loves hurting our hearts. He's really good at it. So that was the whole summary of the book. And this thing, I was tense the whole time I was reading it, and I could not put it down. Like, usually, I'm in quarantine right now. I'm pacing myself with the books, like, reading maybe 3 hours during the nighttime, a little bit during the daytime. This book, it was like 2 days, and I finished it. And yeah, it's a shorter, well, compared to other books that I read, around 400-ish pages, but I cranked it out. Like, you cannot put it down because there's so much going on, and you feel so tense. Your whole body tenses up. Your brain is like, what's going on? What's gonna happen? No! And there's so many emotions flowing through really high levels. Oh, it was masterfully done. I just gotta say that, and I'm happy that the red cord is dead, even though it caused problems later. I also think it was really smart having the main fight in a completely different country for this one, because Harry had already lost mostly everything in Chicago, except for his friends. Like, he rallied all his friends to go to Chichen Itza. Oh my god. And to the Mayan ruins, all there, even Leanda City, which I cannot believe they're on good terms. That, I was shocked. But, you know, Mab, Winter Queen, is in control, so that's gotta happen. I just really liked that it was at Chichen Itza, because it was a whole new place for us to see people out of their realm. Like, they were in the vampire headquarters, the vampire stronghold, the vampire place where they're at their most power, and they defeated them. So if that does not show you how much Harry has grown, like, he was getting his ass handed to him in the first couple books, and it was funny because he made it through by being smart, and now he's making it through by being smart, powerful, and having lots of good allies, and being desperate. But that one is not as not as good as advice. So, overall, if you guys are just starting the Dresden series and you just wanted to see some spoilers, because I know, I honestly just like hearing spoilers sometimes, because it doesn't actually spoil everything. Like, this book, what I've told you may be some of the big chunks, but there's so much in here to unpack, and there's so much in here that made me burst out loud laugh the middle of the night when I was trying to finish it, which Jim is really good at doing that for me and for a lot of other people I've heard. And maybe you're just starting the series. It's kind of slow at the beginning, the whole series, but it really picks up and you really fall in love with the characters, especially after this book, after you've seen them go through so much. You have to finish it all. Like, there's no way you could just stop. And if you've already read it, then I hope you agree with me on most of these things, because I feel like most of the reports about changes are all pretty similar. I watched one and I didn't actually find very many book reviews of the Dresden series, which made me sad because, I don't know, I really was in a YouTube hole trying to find some, and I couldn't find that many. But these, yes, read these now. If you like anything magic related, I know Jim says this, it's like it's like Harry Potter but for adults. Or think Buffy the Vampire Slayer starring Philip Marlowe. I don't know who Philip Marlowe is, but it's just hilarious. It's got all the sass, it's got all the magic, it's got all the supernatural, it's got huge moral choices and political leanings and all this stuff. It's so powerful, and Jim envelops so much into these books. Like, they teach you so much. Harry may not be the best person, but he's really trying to be there with all the choices that he has laid out there for him. So overall, changes, favorite book list, yes. Go and read it.